Okay, so we've looked at some of the familiar notation or some of the important notation there. So now we want to look at the idea of a subset. So if I have two sets, A and B, for example, we would say that B is a subset of A if everything in B is in A. Okay, that's essentially what it comes down to. If every element in B is in set A, then it's nearly like, let's say A is the numbers from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll say B is the numbers from 1, 2, 3. Let's fix my bracket there. So because those three numbers that make up set B are all found in set A, we would say that set B is a subset of set A because everything that makes up set B can be found inside of set A. Now, one way I like to think about subsets and listing out the subsets is to use an example. So let's say we were going for ice cream and we have a number of different flavors of ice cream that we could get. So let's say we have vanilla, we'll say we have mint, and let's say we have chocolate. Okay, just to keep it kind of a little small here. So let's say these are the flavors of ice cream that I can choose from. I walk into the ice cream shop and these are the flavors that I can choose from. And I'm allowed to have as much ice cream as I like, but a max of one of each flavor. Okay, so I've been told I could get 3 scoops if I want, or I could get 2 scoops, or I could get 1 scoop, but I can at most get one of each flavor. Okay, so either I get all 3, or I just get 2 of them, or I just get 1 flavor on its own. The subsets are those combinations of flavor. So one choice I could make would be to get all 3. That there is one of the subsets of my larger set here, of my choice of ice cream. So I could walk into the parlour and take all of them. I could decide that I'm going to do vanilla and mint, or I might do mint and chocolate, or maybe I just do chocolate. And you can see how there we're forming these smaller choices, these smaller sets out of this larger set of vanilla, mint and chocolate. Now the biggest set that we've come up with there is this set here where I choose each of the options in the individual set. It's still a choice I've made, however, it is the set that was there originally. So that I suppose leads us to an important point, which is that one of the subsets is the set that was there in the first place, the full set itself. The other case is that I could go into the ice cream parlour and I see that there was vanilla, mint and chocolate and I think, oh, I really wanted strawberry and that was the only ice cream flavour I want. So out of these 3 choices, I choose none of them. So the symbol we had for that would have been this symbol here. Do you remember what it was? It's the null set, okay? So that would be our null set. So out of the 3 choices I had here, I have chosen none of them. Okay, I've decided I don't want one. So I've chosen to have none of them. So the smallest set that I can always, the smallest subset is the null set. Okay, so I suppose this I have detailed a little bit more here, described here, in calling them proper or improper subsets. So a proper subset is any subset where I take, 2 or 1 or whatever. An improper subset is the null set, so the empty set, and the full set itself. So if we look at the example we had here with A, with the numbers from 1 to 5, the full set, 1 to 5, is a subset, but it's an improper subset. A proper subset would be B, because it's a smaller subset. So a proper subset will always be smaller. Okay. Fun fact to note, I suppose, as well, is that a set will always have 2 to the power of whatever the cardinal number is. That's the number of subsets it will have. Okay, not something we really have to worry about, but it's just a fun thing to note. So the set of odd numbers between 1 and 5, we're asked to list the subsets and then calculate how many there are. So let's list out the set first. The set of odd numbers between 1 and 5 is 1, 3, and 5. So let's look at the subsets. Let's start small. The smallest subset is nothing, is the empty set. Then we have the set with just each individual element. Then I can start combining the elements. So maybe 1 and 3. Maybe 1 and 5, maybe 3 and 5. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the last subset I have is to combine them all together. 1, 3, and 5. Okay, and there are 8 subsets there. Okay, so an important one to note, I suppose, and just to kind of follow there. So there's 8 different subsets there that we were able to list out. Let's look at some of these examples here then. The set A, B, and C are defined as follows. A is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. B is 1, 2, 4, 6, 7. And C is 1, 3, 4, 7. We're asked to state whether the following are true or false. Okay, so this is a good opportunity actually to go over the one thing that we didn't mention in the last video when we looked at the symbols, which was the symbol for subset. So looking at it here, the symbol for subset is quite similar. It's not unlike the symbol for element, but it doesn't have the middle line. So it's actually a C. So I think of that as meaning nearly contained. So if it is a subset, we use that little C and we read it, as always, from left to right. A is a subset of B. And it just means that everything in A is in B. So let's look at these questions here. Usual story, if you haven't attempted these yourself yet, maybe do that first. So the sets A, B, and C are defined as follows. State whether the following are true or false. So the first one here means B is a subset of A. That would mean that everything in B can be found in A. And if we have a quick look through there, 1 is there, 2 is there, 4 is there, 6 is there, 7 is there. So that is true. Next question is that C is a subset of A, and again that's going to be true because 1, 3, 4, and 7 are all found there as well. The next question says C is not a subset of B. That would mean that everything in C is not found in B. So we can look through it. 1 is, but 3 is not. 4 is, and 7 is, but 3 is not. So I can't make set B, or set C, excuse me, from set B, so it's not a subset. So that is true. They've used the correct symbol. Looking at the next one, B is a subset of C. That is false, okay, for many reasons, one of which is that B is bigger than C. Okay, a set can never be a subset of a set that is bigger than it. Let's look at the next one. 3, 1, 4, 7 is a subset of C. It is a subset of C. Do we remember what type of subset it is? It is an improper subset. Okay, it's an improper subset because it's actually the full set. Do you remember we said order doesn't matter? So it actually is just set C. So really there, we could also say instead of subset, we could use the symbol equals because they're actually equal sets. And part 6 then is the null set is a subset of A. That is of course true because the null set is a subset of every set. Let's look at, we have 1 or 2 more questions here. We need to list the subsets of these choices here. So let's run through them. The null set obviously always first. I'm just going to use the letters for each of the subjects here to save myself a little bit of time. So the first options are we do the null set and we do each of the sets individually. Then we can start pairing them off. So let's just go in twos first. So we have art and Irish, art and maths, art and PE. Are there any other ones? We could do Irish and maths. Make sure I'm on the commas between them. We could do Irish and PE, and we could do maths and PE. Okay, I think that's all the twos. Let's go for the threes. We could do art, Irish, and maths. We could do art, Irish, and PE. And we could do art, maths, and PE. We could also do Irish, maths, and PE. And then we have art, Irish, maths, and PE. So let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that's actually all of them there. Okay, so you can see, good to work through it kind of systematically. Start with the smallest ones, start with the individual ones, build up to the bigger ones, and don't forget your 2 improper ones, which is the null set and the overall set itself. Last few questions here. We're given a list of a kind of set here, D, 1, 5, 7, 9, 10, 12, 13. So a random collection of numbers. We're asked to list a subset which has 3 elements. That could be any subset at all, so long as it has 3 elements. So for example, maybe 1, 5, 7. List a subset of D with 5 elements. So same idea again, any subset at all, so long as it has 5 elements. So let's do the first 5. 2 improper subsets would be the null set and the full set itself, 1, 5, 7, 9, 10, 12, and 13, or else just D. And to give an example of a proper subset, that again, any subset at all. So for example, 1, 5. Any other subset that is smaller than the original set D. Okay, so that hopefully makes a bit of clarity on what a subset is. So it is a set, usually smaller, okay, usually smaller set, which is found inside a bigger set. Okay, the biggest subset you can have is the overall set, and then the smallest subset you can have is the empty set, and then every other subset in between is just made up from the different elements of the bigger set. Okay.